Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Tom for MASALAKRAUT, and today we're gonna have a nice interview for you with Siddharth Menon, who is Max in Max Min in Miyazaki. This is a great movie, won Best Film at the Indo-German Film Week, which was amazing. And we had talked to Adil Hussein, who is already in it as well, and there might be some more in the future. And yeah, check this interview out. It's definitely worth it. And this man is as wonderful as he is on screen. So yeah, definitely a treat for you guys. Enjoy. You're far, far away from us, but you have been very close with your latest movie, Max Min in Miyazaki, which is really exciting. And let's start you off with some easy questions right now. We most of the time when we have an interview, we have a kind of a little word association type of thing going on. And this is what we will do as well. So I have a couple things, and you will let us know what comes to your mind, or what the answer is in kind of short term. So don't think too long.
Yeah, instant, right?
Instantly would be very much preferred.
Okay.
It's just gonna be 5 little things. So I'm just going to let you know, all movie related. So you won't have a problem, I think.
Okay.
All right. So first off, are you ready? Yeah, that's the first question.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes, instantly.
There you go. Okay. Then here we go. Let me switch. Where is your favorite seat in the cinema?
Right in the middle.
Bottom,
bang
top,
in the middle of the.
or middle?
Right. Yeah, the middle, like the cross section.
Okay, perfect. Middle. Perfect. What's your favorite snack? Like cinema.
Nachos.
Okay, there you go.
Nachos.
Nacho cheese or salsa?
The cheese.
There you go. Trailers or no trailers?
Trailers.
And last but not least, original or dubbed?
Originals.
There you go. That was an easy one. I think that takes us somewhere right now.
Yeah. It does.
Perfect. Oh, we have another one. I didn't ask this one, but do you have a favorite cinema?
As in the theater?
Yeah. Where's your go-to cinema? Where you're like, oh, this is my resident, my hometown cinema. I'll go there every time when I watch a movie.
It's actually the IMAX screen in Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
It's called INOX,
Okay.
and they have an IMAX screen there.
Perfect.
So I watch a lot of films at INOX. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, thank you so much. So you have been an actor for over 10 years now. It's a long-spanning career, even longer when you count your theater career. And I was wondering, how did it all start? Like, how did you fall in love with acting and cinema, especially?
Oh, it has to go back way back to my childhood, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, Tom, it's lovely that we're having this conversation, because where I'm sitting right now,
Yeah.
this is the house which I grew up.
Oh.
I'm in Pune right now, which is like 3 hours from Mumbai.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this is where it all happened.
There we go.
So, yeah, it was me and my parents living here. And they were big film buffs.
Mm-hmm.
And so weekends, weekdays, we were at the cinema. We didn't have multiplexes when I was growing up here. They were all single screens.
Yeah.
The multiplexes came when I finished school.
Mm-hmm.
That's when the multi-screen multiplex came in. But before that, it was all single screen.
Yeah.
So other kids used to go to tuitions after school, where I used to go to the movies. So,
there you go.
Plus, I have a big VHS collection. My rooms, can you see the stairway
Yeah,
here?
yeah, yeah.
So that leads to my room upstairs, which is kind of like, and I have a big VHS collection. I have LPs, I have you know audio cassettes, the
Mm,
works. So it's like, so that's where the love for cinema started.
mhm.
And yeah, as and how I was getting more and more enamored by different types of cinema. We have so many languages
Yes.
in India, and I'm from the south of India, so I grew up watching that cinema as well. I grew up watching the big Bollywood. Watched a lot of films from the 60s, 70s, Hollywood, well, world cinema. I was exposed to a lot of that. And as I was very enamored by how actors would just become different people, you know, and by storytelling and by emotion and how did this person or how did she perform the scene, like how did she cry, how was she so invested. So it began with a curiosity
Mm,
uh, which caught me and it never left.
mm. Do you
And
remember?
I think there was
I'm sorry. Do you remember which movie that was that like made this moment happen?
there were it's difficult to
Mm,
pinpoint one, uh, because at different points in my life there were different artists who influenced that.
yeah. Okay.
Starting from I mean, not only cinema, but starting from actually Michael Jackson. Actually, I had that's one person in my life who influenced me a lot on a performance level,
Hmm.
and also his music videos.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there was a lot of story going on over there, and there's this actor from Kerala where I'm from, Mohanlal.
Hmm.
Couple of his films, and then there was Denzel Washington and Leonardo DiCaprio. And some filmmakers. Mani Ratnam was one filmmaker who had a big influence.
Mm.
Uh, for my love for cinema.
How did you like
And
his latest work?
yeah, I loved it. Yeah, PS1, I loved Punil Selvan too. I loved it. I that album and the entire thing, right?
Hmm.
The whole Mani Ratnam A.R. Rahman partnership,
Yeah.
the whole in the South in Malayalam, the whole Priyadarshan Mohanlal kind of partnership, the whole Amir Khan era. There was a Ram Gopal Verma era right there too. There was Rangila.
Mm.
So there were all these kinds of films, and then just suddenly out of the blue, my father introducing me to Godfather,
Oof.
uh, and then Pacino coming in, and then Scent of a Woman,
I'm getting goosebumps just
and then
thinking about it.
yeah, yeah, and then the whole Star Wars. They re-released Star Wars. I remember when I was in school, they remastered it and they re-released it in theaters.
Nice.
So episode 4, 5, 6,
So you're a fan, yeah?
that, and
You're a
then
fan.
Harrison Ford.
This is.
May
I
the
have to
force be
say.
with you.
I have to say. To be honest, like my girlfriend, for example, it's if with her, she doesn't know Star Wars. I mean, she's a little younger than you, but she doesn't know Star Wars. So I'm teaching her right now, and
Yeah, it's
it
very necessary education.
it is like really interesting because I have the feeling I don't know, you can say I'm wrong here, but I have the feeling that a lot of Indians don't know about sci-fi and sci-fi movies because there are not that many Indian sci-fi movies, right?
No, they know about it.
Yeah, but it's not like as
The
popular.
urban India knows about it for sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's not as popular, right? Or
Uh, it's popular. It is
okay.
maybe not as popular as Bollywood,
Hmm.
but there is a big following because they release it in a really big way here, and they promote it, especially in the cities. As I said, they have so yesterday I saw um, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I mean,
Right, so I took my parents and my cousins and went.
yeah, Mumbai Batten is really nice. Or was it Mumbai Hatton or what was it called?
Yeah. It was called Mumbatten. Yeah, that was superb.
That was so amazing. I loved
You
it.
know, I saw it at a packed house on a weekday afternoon. And then right outside the screen, they had this big installation where they had made it like it was like they had LED lights, and they had made it like it was a sort of a maze
Yeah,
into the verse, like a time travel, and kids were playing. So
nice.
that's always been there. Star Wars, even when they re-released it, I remember I was like, "What is this? What Star Wars?" But then my dad was like, you don't know
You should know.
what it did." Big, yeah, and you should know. So there was a there is a big following, and yeah, so there are believers and there are non-believers. So that way there are Star Wars peeps and there are non Star Wars. They have no idea, right? Like my wife has never seen Star Wars, and she keeps telling me what is this. I'm like, no, it's not
And
just
she's
sci-fi.
still
It's
your
not
wife.
just
Oh, she must be a very good person.
she's quite she's quite amazing. She's quite amazing. So yeah, I mean, there are not we've as in India we've not ventured out into sci-fi as much,
Yeah.
especially in the big commercial way. It's somewhere in an experimental stage. There's this filmmaker by the name of Aarti Kadav. Okay, she's very heavily into sci-fi, and I had done a short film of hers. It's not a short film actually; it's a featurette, a 40-minute, and that had time travel.
Oh, okay.
And it was a story of this uh, young high school scientist who wants to make a time machine. And he's this nerd, and there's a small little love story involved, and that film is on movie right
Oh,
now.
okay.
Uh, yeah, so that film is on movie, and his elder self kind of time travels back to meet him, and we made it at a very shoestring budget. We did stop motion animation, and stuff like that. So there are people, and she also made a film called Cargo, which has Ali Fazal in it, and that happens in space. That's on Netflix.
Yeah, I think I remember that
So
one. Yeah.
yeah, and then that's a part of it. And then I remember when I was in school, Koi Mil Gaya happened, where Hrithik Roshan and his dad had directed, and that was kind of like the biggest science fiction uh, movie in India at the time. Right now, there's a lot of mythology based going on because we have so many stories out there.
Yeah.
So many untapped stories and mythology. So that's happening, but it's slowly going there. I think it's going on in an independent way somewhere. And I remember when we made Time Machine, the film was called Time Machine. We didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Because it was a 40-minute. We don't know what to do with it. But then movie came, and she had a portal which she ran called Short Film Window, which then she put it on. But then movie really blew it up. Movie blew up the film.
Nice.
So she to make some science fiction kind of things.
Yeah.
Minnal Murli is a superhero film. That's a film which is made in Malayalam. And so people are venturing into that SFX, VFXC kind of space.
I mean, looking from the perspective that a lot of VFX and CGI is done in India for the big movies and like Hollywood movies, and using that power to create something that looks very amazing should be something that the Bollywood or whatever industry like I'm sorry, Hindi movies. I shouldn't say Bollywood, by the way. Hindi movies should tackle, and also other Indian regional cinema, because I mean, let's say, like, look at the way RRR was very successful and doing like the world took the world by storm, and being over the top and very big and pompous, and but also so much fun. And I wonder really what it would look like if this kind of movie would be like set in space, for example, like an Aliens or some 2001 or something like that. I would be really interested to see that.
Yeah. It'll happen. It'll take some. It's already happening, as I said, on an independent level. But somewhere there is a style of in India the way films are made, right?
Yeah.
Especially if it's mounted at that budget. So I think there are writers, there are potential writers. There's a lot of investment going into development right now. It's going to happen soon.
Yeah.
I just hope I'm there in it at the forefront when it does.
I hope so too. I mean, it's really exciting to see, like, especially not dystopia, but the kind of idea that comes from that. That the world in a different way. So that is really exciting to see.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, looking back at all the great movies you've done. There's some ones. I mean, you've done there's a lot of. If I go down the list here, but some of the more. I think the one that maybe got you going was Peddlers, right? And I was wondering how was it?
It was my debut. Yeah.
Yeah. How. And it was critically acclaimed, so it was a very good movie. It played in Cannes, 2012. So it's been a minute, and I was wondering how was the actor Siddharth at that point, and did you change from today?
There are some things which have stayed the same, and there's another big part of me which is evolved. I don't want to say changed. I want to use the word evolved. At that time, I remember I never expected to be the lead in my debut film. I always thought, I'll do like a bit part somewhere. That'll be my beginning, and then I'll get a bigger part, and then that'll do well, and then I'll do. But this was right up front, the lead part. And before this, the only interaction I had with cinema is doing short films, and mostly diploma films of film students who went to film school, right? Because I used to do so much theater. I used to get to interact with them, and then they would ask, "Oh, I'm doing my diploma. So would you want to, do?" And that was all just for learning. So I was not completely new to filmmaking in that way. But yeah, on this scale, even though it was a small budget film, for me it was big. Giving 35, 40 days, and I was just like a sponge. Like every day. I would be on set before time. I hardly ever sat in, my trailer. I was always on set, even when scenes were being lit up. I remember I used to go on recce. I mean, my director, Vasan Bala, was kind enough to take me along. So I used to go on tech recce's, and I used to go with the DOP. And I remember we did a test shoot, and I was there for that as well. And I was just so new to it, and I was just absorbing. I was asking a ton of questions to my director, and he was very kind. He was very patient. He answered each and every one of them at every given point in time, and I had a lot of in my head. I was very wound up. As in, because I was 21 at the time. So every scene, I had a particular requirement in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like in this scene, this should happen and that should happen. But it's always different when you go on flow. Like the scene, you need to take the gist of the scene, and you need to. So I did surrender, but I had so much doubt. I was convinced that I'd done
I
that
mean,
job.
you just got out of school basically, so yeah, and it's like obviously at that age very
Yeah.
hard to let go of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember on day 5 or 6, Vasan just came up to me and he just said, "Listen, just relax. You're awesome, and you have it in you. Just trust the process. Just trust the process." And I think him saying that was a big thing. And then I just flew with it. I just went with it. And the first time I saw the film was at Cannes in 2012. So I was just like, what's happening? Oh, I was just like this little kid. Uh, and I think as the years went by, I started being more and more comfortable being uncomfortable. Uh, you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Because as an actor, you're always uncomfortable.
yeah.
You're always in the unknown, you know. And as a younger actor at 21, 22, 23, I wasn't a big fan of the process. It used to take a lot out of me because it'd be tiring. There's so much doubt. There's so much. It's not that there's no doubt now, but that's where my evolution has taken me. I'm okay with that doubt. I'm okay to explore. I'm okay to take chances. I'm okay to make mistakes. And I've learned that the more you're just ready to take that risk, it's more
Yeah.
fruitful. I mean, you never know whether your performance is on point or no, but that's the game. You never know that the film is going to go to a festival or no, or it's going to win or no, or it's going to become a hit or no. You don't know, but that's the
Yeah.
game. And as an artist, live your life in that unknown.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
That's the beauty. Comfortable, yeah. So I'm more comfortable being in the unknown right now. But the thing which has stayed the same is I think this is what feedback I get. It's my energy. People still say you don't look. I'm 34 right now. You don't look 34. You don't seem 34. On set, your energy is like you're like some kid. I mean, how do you do that? Or because I'm still learning, I'm still inquisitive. I still spend very little time in my trailer. I don't sit in my trailer at all. I'm either there when like the scene's been set up, or I'm with the other actors, or I'm with my director. Where he's seated behind the monitors. So I'm just taking in. I'm just taking in the location. Or I'm in my own imaginary
Yeah.
world somewhere. So that hasn't changed. I'm still the first one to come on set on those days before anybody else comes.
Yeah, so I mean, I have not seen all of your movies to be honest, but I have seen two at least, and I was wondering in terms because they are more of the indie variety, I would say, not a typical Hindi movie with a lot of dancing and singing. So I was wondering because you come from theater, you've done Aladdin. How's your singing and dancing?
Yo, that's the one thing which I'm waiting for. Somebody to make me sing and dance on cinema, on film. I'm waiting for it because all my singing and dancing has been restricted to the stage. Uh, and I'm just waiting. In fact, I want to sing one of the songs. I want to do playback singing for myself. So every time I'm doing a new film, I'm kind of edging the maker. You want to try this song in my voice? You wanna kind of so soon that'll happen. But yeah, singing and dancing is a part of me as a performer. It's just amazing that I haven't gotten to go there on film as
I
yet.
mean, you had the chance to. I think you had the chance to sing, like the jingles and the rock band, right? You had the chance to at least perform a little bit there. So, in your latest movie, Max Min and Miyazaki. So, yeah, how was that then?
Yeah, I was psyched. Those were the most exciting days on set for me.
Yeah,
And that song which I lip synced, I didn't sing it. that the Carnatic rock fusion song. But of course, I had to learn it, right? So when we were shooting that song, I sang. I didn't lip sync. I belted it out. Even though I know it's not my voice, you can see my veins popping. I learned that song by heart. And it's a tough one to learn because it's classical. It's hardcore Carnatic classical, and I'm a little bit trained. A little. When I was little, my mum kind of like shoved me in that direction. She was like, "Oh, you have a lovely voice. Just go, 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 go." But I was stupid. I didn't understand what I had in my hands. But yeah, that and the jingles. I loved those days. I loved it. And I used to give variations. Like, hey, what if we sing it this way? What if we sing it that way? It was quite lovely.
Awesome, yeah. Speaking of that movie, I mean, we've talked to Adil Hussain, your dad, in the movie. Yeah, first of all, the movie is about Max, Min, and a cat named Miyazaki, and their relationship. It's about three generations. For the people that have not seen the movie, it's about three generations and how they reconcile with each other, I would say. That's to put it in a nutshell. But there are a lot of very great moments that brought me to tears, and I was saying, sometimes leave that stupid woman, but do it finally. But yeah, so I was mad sometimes because I could see you hurting. It hurt me. But
Oh, nice. That's the best compliment I've got so far for
there you
that film.
go. And yeah, I was wondering in that regard, because Miyazaki is obviously a reference to Hayao Miyazaki, great from Ghibli Studios. And I was wondering, are you a fan yourself,
Yeah.
or and what's your favorite of it?
So I didn't know about Miyazaki before this film, and when Padma Kumar, the director, he narrated me the script. It was just post second wave COVID, so we did a narration like this online, and said Miyazaki. I was like, that's an interesting title. So he's like, do you know the filmmaker Miyazaki? He said, it rings a bell, but I haven't been exposed. He said, okay, you
Yeah.
have to watch this film then. So he narrated the entire script, and then I saw all of them. I saw Spirited Away, I saw Kiki's Delivery Service, I saw a bunch of them, and I understood why he chose my character Max to be a Miyazaki fan, and now I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. I even saw the documentary
Yes,
on
yeah, that's a
Miyazaki.
good one, right?
Uh, that's a great one. It's a great one, and I have to say, I think my all-time favorite. It has to be Kiki's Delivery Service. I
Okay.
don't know. It's just one of those films which I go back to. I keep going back to again and again and again.
I think Patty said
Uh,
the same when we
yeah,
were talking.
yeah. He's quite amazing, and I saw the similarity. I actually told Paddy after I saw a couple of films. I saw it before we went.
Oh, okay, you're back. You're back. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I got a call. Yeah, that's enough. Okay. So can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. So you saw what, and then you stopped.
Yeah. So I watched the Miyazaki films just before we went on flow. And that was important because I feel Maximin and Miyazaki has that shade. It has those colors. It has that mood. It has people wanting to be better. That whole coming of age, that mellow softness, solemnness. It has all of that, and I was like, without overtly just copying that, if we can bring in that feel
Yeah, that mood,
to an audience
that
who
vibe.
watches
Yeah.
this, that mood, that vibe, it would be a great ode to a filmmaker like Miyazaki.
Indeed.
You
Yeah.
know,
You did very well.
and thank you. Well, just kudos to Paddy. I think it was all in the writing. We just needed to surrender to his vision, and I love the fact that people are hurting, people are cross with each other in the film, uh, but nobody is disrespecting the other.
Of course. Yeah. It's
You know,
this is I have to say, to be honest, this has to be the perfect world, because the way everybody actually talked to each other and said what they're feeling, and this is how it should be. And I think that's what Patty mentioned in the Q&A we had after the last screening of the movie at the festival. He said it as well in terms of the way especially men are in India, and how they behave themselves and what they do. And I think this breaks the mold, and this shows actually this wonderful, lovely side of things, how men should actually act.
yeah, true, true. And I just want to, the opening sequence.
Mm-hmm.
That was a very challenging sequence for me to shoot as an actor. Because as you rightly said, see, there are two people breaking up. One is accusing the other of infidelity. And usually when there's a breakup happening and it's because of some sort of infidelity,
Mm-hmm.
your volumes are, they're up there. It's mostly a blame game, the turnaround usually. But the way the scene was written, it was so under, it had a lot of pain, but it was so under, and I was like, I was just caught by surprise
Yeah.
while doing that scene, and I kept thinking, I'm like, this is the opening scene, and should it start somewhere there? And Patty was like, no, 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 a breakup can happen this way. Two people can separate by just talking absolutely normally to one another. I mean, they can hurt, they can blame each other, they can be close, they can do all of that. And it's also a note to how he is and what kind of a world he wants to see.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the pleasure of being an actor. You absorb these visions of these writers and these directors, and you actually end up saying to yourself, wow, the world can be like this. A breakup can be this way.
Yeah.
People can help each other when they're sick, when they're alone, when a pet can be your savior even if you're allergic. And that's, it encapsulates the human experience, because I don't think any of us really know what the human experience is. We're discovering it as human beings every day. And I think this is one of those films which opens up a dimension. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the experience I've had with people who watch the film. We screened at Busan, and then at Taipei, and then in the US, and then in India, and it was amazing to see that no matter where people are from, they could relate to this human experience.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have to say, I mean, I've been in a breakup, and I had this kind of breakup. Actual talk with feelings, crying and all of that, but also not getting at each other's throats. And I think that is what is most important, because these kind of breakups, or this kind of talk in general, if you have an argument, I think this is the example. Everybody should do their communication in this kind of way, and I think everybody would be better off at the end of the day. And
yeah, true.
Yeah, I wanted to know from you in this kind of case as well, because you mentioned the opening scene, but is that your favorite scene? Or let's say, do you have a favorite scene that you're yourself in, and do you have a favorite scene where you maybe not in, or from the movie in general?
Yeah, I mean, where I'm not in, it's that small sequence. It has to be Adil Hussein's sequence with his father.
Oh.
There's no dialogue. There's no dialogue there, but it's that whole montage.
Where he's waiting by the door, you mean?
Yeah. No, not where he's waiting by the door.
Okay.
Where he goes to discuss with his father.
Oh, okay.
There's no dialogue there. And another sequence which I have to mention is the first scene of Adil Hussain with Mandira Bedi. where he's so aversive to therapy. He says, I think I made a mistake, and then he injures his back. And that kind of converts him into believing that, oh, you know what, I want to come back to this place again. I think I should give this a shot.
There's the healing. The healing
I think
started.
that's the healing starts there. And with me, when it comes to me just talking about myself, it's a spectrum. Sometimes I hate myself. Sometimes I love myself so much. So it's just a big spectrum. But if I have to choose one scene,
I have to say,
I think it has been,
for me,
yeah, for you, yeah, please.
for me personally, it's the breakfast scene when the actual breakfast when he comes home to you. I don't want to spoil it for the people, but this is my favorite scene.
Yeah, that's a lovely scene. That is a lovely scene. Another scene which I really, really. There are two actually. I have to pick
It's
two.
fine.
I
It's
can't
fine.
choose
Go ahead.
between. One is the last scene with Min.
At the restaurant, yeah.
Where he's at the dinner table at the restaurant. That is, that's one scene which really shows how much Max has grown. In his journey, and that's so necessary for Min. Max being this way is so important for Min to move
Exactly.
on. So that's why I love that scene and the conversation that they have. And the other scene, it slipped my mind. It's. I don't want to spoil it for people, but there's one very emotional. Are you going to edit out the spoilers? Are we going to? I don't know how this is going to happen.
No. Let's keep it vague for the people. But like at which part of the movie is it? Maybe so I know at least, or you can tell me later, whatever.
It's in the second half of the film. It's a small scene which happens at the old age home after a very devastating event in the lives of all these
I know which one.
And and I asked this question to Adil sir, and it's not a question you would hear from Max. He asked something which is very close to their traditions. He asked, "Shall I shave my head? Shall I wear the And I think that's it's a lovely bridge in between father and son.
Yes.
That little conversation which they have. It kind of shows that both of them are willing to explore each other's worlds and not judge each other.
Yeah.
And often when it comes to this kind of generational gap, the father and son are always loggerheads. Often, in India, they go through their whole lives not trying to understand each other's point of view when it comes to tradition and when it comes to religion. And it often happens when they're both very old, where the father's passed away, and then you think, oh, you know what, I had this chat with my father. I should have tried to, So I feel that's a very, very important bridge. And if it can ring with the generation of today, and by the generation of today, I mean everybody who's living currently in this generation. Yeah. It's not an age thing.
Yeah, I mean,
fathers and sons and everybody.
Basically it's for every generation at the end of the day, in my opinion. So even if you're young right now, you might not get it right now, but it will resonate later, and you will understand what you should do. And I think you guys have done a very good job doing this kind of movie in that kind of way. And so I applaud you for sure for this one. I really had a good time watching it. And I was wondering because first off, Adil also had a question for you. I asked Siddharth to give a question to Adil for the interview, and he did, and he answered it. The interview will go either live today or tomorrow while we're recording, and yours will be a couple of days later. And so yeah, you can watch that. He had a good time. He answered for sure, and he also had a question back. The question was he a good upper to you?
Oh, the best, the best. He was the best.
Yeah.
I mean, I call him Appa only. Whenever I meet him, I'm always Appa. I'm always, but he was the best. He was so, um, because see, Adil Hussain is a big deal. And, I'm a fan, I'm a student. Uh, and, when I got to know that Adil Hussain is going to be on board, I was so excited. And, um, we both, he left Adil Hussain in his trailer, and I left Siddharth Menon in my trailer. And we were Max, and we were Ramesh Mahadevan. So that's not going to change ever in life. Even if we end up doing tons of other films, which I feel we will, but he will always be Appa to me. And and he's very sensitive. He's very sensitive to the opposite actor's process. I remember there's a story which I have to tell you. We were shooting this scene, okay, for Max Min itself. And, sometimes when you're on set, you need to cheat your look. So Adil was here, I was here, and the cam was behind. It was kind of an over the shoulder from Adil. And the DOP, he asked me to kind of cheat my look. Like, he asked me to not look into Adil's eye, but to look somewhere here, towards his ear. And I'm okay doing it, to tell you very honestly, because I believe an actor should always work for the technicians. It's just easier that way. They control the medium. We need to be, but
they make it look good. So
that particular scene was very emotional, and it would be better if we looked into each other's eyes. And he requested the DOP. He said, "Can we not do this for this scene? Like, can you make a change? Because he needs to look in my eye right now." So he was Appa. He was Appa for me on set. And I was like, no, it's okay, Adil sir. No, we will not do that. Not for this scene. We will. Please, can you adjust the camera?
That's very nice to hear that the way your work on set has been. And I was wondering, what would you say was the greatest moment? I mean, we heard from multiple people now about Adil's great cooking skills for the set and for the people. But do you have any other behind the scenes funny stories that we should know about?
Nasser sir, right? My grandfather, who played my grandfather. So we both had one thing in common. So in between takes, we would take short naps.
Oh, we heard the nap story, but we didn't hear about you yet.
So we would take naps, and actually, I very rarely take naps in between shots in a scene. But just looking at him, I was very, very tempted. And he's a veteran actor. He's, I think, done more than 700, 800 films in his career, So for him, he's kind of like, and he was enjoying himself. He loved his part, and he loved this film. He was enjoying himself. And every time he would doze off and the cam would go, I would doze off with him. And then they would come and say, okay, the shot's ready. And then both of us would kind of... It was quite amazing.
Yeah, he's a professional napper.
Yeah, he's a professional napper. Now he's turned me into one too.
Awesome. So before we let you go, I would do a little association again, five of them, and after that I will ask you one or two more questions before we finish this interview out. So first up is your favorite director?
Who I've worked with?
No, ever. You like your favorite, your most favorite director?
Oh
Yeah, I
my
know, tough
God.
question. Who was the first one? Who was
Ooh,
the
it's
first
tough.
one that came to mind?
Um, First one came to mind was Mani
Okay, there you
Ratnam.
go.
Mani
Okay.
Ratnam. Yeah, Mani
Do you
Ratnam.
have a favorite film poster?
Favorite film poster? Yes, it's actually. I was rewatching some parts of Star Wars a few
Okay.
days back, and I remembered the Phantom Menace poster with the young
Yeah.
Anakin who's
With
walking,
the shade of
and the
Vader.
shadow is Darth Vader. Shade of Vader. Yeah, that was pretty powerful.
Remind me to show you a Phantom Menace poster after this one in the off. It's by an artist, a friend of mine, and yeah, this is a great poster. He's called Zero. I'll show you later.
Lovely.
Next up, your favorite dancer or choreographer, or
Oh,
you could also say your favorite choreography in a movie.
it's from this Hindi film called Laksh.
Hmm.
The song is "Main Aisa Kyun Hu." It was choreographed by Prabhu Deva and Ritik
Hmm.
Roshan dance on that. I know that choreography by heart, by the way.
There you go.
When I was little, I loved that choreography.
Is
If you came home, that was dinner, drinks, and Main Aisa Kyun Hu by me. That was the evening.
nice. Do you have a favorite song from a movie? Is it this one as well?
No, actually, my favorite song from a movie has to be from School of Rock.
Okay.
The climax
Yeah,
song. The If you wanna be the teacher, say that one. That's my favorite movie song.
there you go. And last but not least, do you have a favorite movie quote?
Oh, movie quote. There's so many, so many, so
First one,
many.
I am your
Uh,
father.
what? It has to be. I think it has to be a Yoda quote. I'm a sucker
Oh,
for
okay.
man. It has to be. Uh, yeah, I think it's it's that one. Train your mind to let go of the things that you fear.
All right, all right. I thought it's gonna be there.
Yeah, that
There is
was.
no try.
Oh no, there's one more.
Sure,
Can I
sure,
give
sure.
one more? It's from Kung Fu Panda.
Okay.
There is no secret. There is no secret ingredient.
Perfect. All
That's
righty.
all.
Great answers. Great answers. I like those. Okay. Before we finish here, I would love to hear from you. What is next up for you in store? What can you tease? What are you allowed to do without the or with NDAs intact or whatever? But what is coming up? What's next for you?
So, very lovely little film that I just wrapped. It's tentatively called Salman and
Hmm.
Daughters. It's a tentative title. It's not fixed
Hmm.
yet. But that one is directed by Baba
Hmm.
Azmi, a very big DOP in India and Bollywood. He's shot some big films, some cult films, and this is his second directorial
Also,
venture.
no dancing for you in that.
And has a great cast. No choreographed
Okay. Okay.
dancing, uh, but there is some song and
Okay.
dance there.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm excited for that one. So yeah, that's going to come out, and then there's Maximin, which is coming, and yeah, as of now that's about it. Which you can look forward to almost immediately in the coming year.
Perfect. All right, then. Thank you so much for stopping by, Siddharth. It has been a pleasure talking to you and hearing from you with those behind the scenes stories and all the great career you have been having so far, and hopefully for many, many years and more. And yeah, maybe we'll be in the next 10 years, we'll be here again and talking about your great movies.
Yeah, maybe in person.
For sure.
I mean,
I might.
for sure we
Yeah,
should be.
yeah. I might be in February. I might be in India. So
Great. So just call me. We'll catch
for
up for
sure,
sure.
awesome. Alrighty, my friend. Thank you so much again, and we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.
See you. Have a great evening.
All right.